One of the craziest things I've realized after living in different countries is that the challenges that actually break us aren't the ones we expect. Like language barriers, currency, transportation, all that stuff gets solved. But it's the invisible mental battles that are the hardest, in my opinion. They're the ones that will burn you out, question everything, and they're the reason why people end up just moving back home after a couple months. So, after 5 years across Asia and South America, here are the things that hit me the hardest, and frankly, ones that people don't really talk about. When you first arrive somewhere new, it is intoxicating. In Buenos Aires, I was everywhere the first couple of weeks. Like I was meeting people nightly, going to meetups, linguistic exchanges, doing everything I could possibly do. And then I completely crashed. Like I was exhausted, I couldn't do anything because I was living in this permanent tourist mode. And when you're in this permanent tourist mode, you're not giving yourself any anchors. You're not giving yourself any place to live. So when I first get to a new place, I find my anchors. What coffee shop or co-working space I could work from, a gym I could go to, and a few non-negotiable routines that would set up my whole week. But even with a routine, every day in a new country comes with hundreds of different tiny choices that you never really have to make back home. Like what route to go from point A to point B, where to eat, what app to use to pay, even buying groceries takes up so much more brain power than you probably expect. Back home, your brain runs on autopilot because you're comfortable with your surroundings. But abroad, you have to think through every minute detail, and it is exhausting. If you're not careful, it will drain you. So what is the fix? Pre-decide all these small stuff that don't really matter, like your default coffee order, or your default walking route, or your I don't know where I'm gonna go eat restaurants. Just save your brain power for things that really matter and addressing some of the hardest things when you move to a new place, like loneliness. Loneliness can set in long before you can even say hello in the local language. Like even your first couple hours or first few nights, you'll see people eating, living out their routines, and you realize you're not part of this. It's not that you can't communicate yet, but it's because you are not able to communicate with anyone. And that feeling is sharp, and if you let it win, it'll keep you on the outside looking in. But I also think it's also a perfect pressure to kind of push you into making these small connections, which would tip you over from being someone just living in the country to being someone who's living in the country. So zooming into my first couple nights in Sao Paulo, I was sitting next to a couple, and essentially I made this comment about a really cool tattoo, something that I would normally just keep to myself. But when you're in a new country or city, any small bit of human connection becomes so important. And this time I ended up speaking up. Hours later, I had 2 new friends, and eventually they ended up pulling me into their world. Like we went to music festivals, bars, clubs, we went rock climbing, went to dinners. I would even work at their apartment every couple of days. And it was all because I took this one vulnerable small risk. Saying a single sentence really changed my whole experience living in Sao Paulo. And it made me realize people everywhere just want this human connection. People just want to connect with people. Everyone wants the same thing. They want to have fun, they want to laugh, they want to feel like they're part of a group. So fast forward to Tokyo, life was smooth. I ended up figuring out my coffee shops, my train routes, everything like I said earlier. And it felt like home, which was great. Until I realized it was the same comfort that made me leave my original home in the first place. Comfort is nice, but it is sneaky. And it could turn into complacency if you're not careful. Because at some point, the honeymoon phase will go away and you will need to find that spark again. So here is the twist. After going down this whole experience of moving to a new country, figuring out your life, your routine, making your friends, making your place home, you end up feeling like it is home. And you might end up craving that craziness you had in the beginning. At least that's what happened to me, and that's what happened to so many of the other people I've met. So for me, I ended up leaving Tokyo for a couple of months and went to Australia because I wanted to feel like I did when I moved into a new country. And it became an addiction. When I first left my home, I thought the biggest challenges would be obvious, like the things that people always talk about. But the truth is, it's the invisible internal battles, at least for me, that were the hardest. But it's also the ones that really shape you the most. And if you learn how to survive with them, you might just keep looking for it again. Anyways, my name is Ethan, and my goal is for everyone to live the life that they will want to the fullest extent. And if that means living in a different place, I really hope you all do so. Anyways, if you have the time, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.